Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to go through the analysis process for sideways markets. So we are picking back up on Aussie dollar USD again. It is now the morning of Friday, the 26th at 7 o'clock. So this is how I'd come to the chart in the morning. I reset the scale. It's the 26th, so I need all of the data from the 26th plus the 2 days before, so the 25th and the 24th on my chart. Now here, you'll notice that at this time, price is still generally trending down, but recent price has started to break to the upside. We've got one break up here with this push where we break this high, and price is attempting to break up a second time, but it's never broken out past all the wicks, so it's nothing to be too interested in at this point. The key parts to notice and to remember when you're analyzing the overall trend though is always do it fresh every time, because as you'll see now, price has broken to the upside again, and suddenly this doesn't look like such a strong downtrend anymore, or a downtrend at all really, because price isn't in this bottom corner anymore. Price is pushed up quite a long way from the bottom corner with a lot of bullish structure. So knowing that, and again, we continue with more candles. So every candle, you can do this if you want. I wouldn't recommend it in the live charts because you'll be doing it forever. But every new setup, you need to be making sure you are analyzing the overall trend fresh every time. Because a lot of the time, you can think that, for example, at the start of the day, price is trending. But if this has happened, it's now no longer trending. This is currently a sideways market, because price is nowhere near that bottom corner anymore. It's much nearer the middle of the chart, as per our easy rule. So what we have here now in a sideways market is a need for 2 consecutive breaks in one direction. And moving on from the trending markets as well that we talked about in the last video, with 2 consecutive breaks being valid for a counter trend trade, 2 consecutive breaks is going to be our bread and butter. It's what we need to know almost all the time with our setups, unless you do have a clear trend, in which case you can have singular breaks in one direction, as we talked about in that last video. But 2 consecutive breaks, again, I'm going to talk about that all the time now. If we map it out with the structure, we've got 1 break because this push broke this high. We then have price kind of muck around for a while without ever breaking anything, because although price pushed up here, and technically this candle, if I remove the dot, this candle does technically close higher than these wicks, you notice how it never breaks out past all the wicks. It wicks on the first attempt, then doesn't break the wicks. Wicks again, it never breaks all the wicks, so that's not classed as a breakout for us. I'll talk about that in another video as well, in some common mistakes videos and extra rules, things to avoid. But back to this. Now we have a second break, because now price has broken to the upside clearly. So therefore, we're looking at setups. We would have price has broken here, clearly broken this high, because this is a second consecutive break up. We go back to the 5 minute for our deep test zone. There's no structure that's broken to the upside, because on the pullback up, this wick is part of this high, so it's touched the level already, so no. The only area to do is the start of the structural push, deep test zone here. So therefore, I'd set my alert on this level, wait for price to come back down to it, which it does, and then it continues to the upside, like so. And that is a sideways market. The key part is that we waited for 2 consecutive breaks, because we didn't have a break in line with an overall trend up or down, and that is it. That is the entire analysis process before your entry for trending and sideways markets. It's incredibly simple. We only ever use the 15-minute for it. That's of course important to mention, even if it is somewhat self-explanatory by every other video being mentioned. But we only trade the 15-minute. We only use the overall trend in the ways that we've talked about with that simple rule for 2 to 3 days of data. And we either have a 1 break in line with an overall trend, or we have 2 consecutive breaks, which works for counter trend or sideways markets. It is as simple as that. And in the next videos, I'm going to get into exactly how we would enter these specific, so I couldn't get the word out, these specific setups that I've just talked about on Aussie dollar USD.